Well, hi, folks. Happy Thursday, and thanks for joining us. It's the Digital Cafe of the Growing Your Social Referrals theme here in September. Thank you so much for taking part. I'm Tim Schmidt here in Austin at the Center for News and Design. In just a second, we'll walk through the folks who are on the call with us. As always, I just want to tell you in advance that we are recording this, and we will send this to you along with the slides that are part of this presentation as soon as it's over. So hopefully before you leave at the end of the day that you will have them in your inbox. If you don't get them, reach back out to me. Another quick thing, we're making sure to add these to the training portal as soon as we get them now. So if you have any concerns about previous trainings, you remember that there was SEO last month or something before that, you can just go to the training portal website. I'll send that out also as part of this when I send you an email later today, and then you can dig in and look at all the previous trainings that we've had thus far. On the call with us today from Austin here at the CND with me is Summer Moore. She is our digital project manager for the company and also a recent visitor to Austin. Michelle Everhart is the Columbus Dispatch digital news editor as well as the innovation director. She was recently in town for the ONA conference, and we all got to hang out a little bit. And the two of them are going to walk you through the presentation. So I'll turn it over to you, Summer.
Thanks, Tim. Okay, so today we're going to go over actually only about two things, but we're going to go into some detail, so get excited. I did mention in the description for today that we were going to talk about LinkedIn, but actually we talked about that last week. So be sure to email Tim if you didn't sign up for last week's training, and he can send you that deck. So today we're going to talk about Reddit because I think Reddit is a missed opportunity for a lot of our newsrooms. And we're also going to talk about how you can use an evergreen plan to boost your social referrals. So again, we're sticking on social to try and boost those social referrals. So let's dig right in. So Reddit is one of those things that I think a lot of people haven't dipped their toe in because it's kind of confusing and different, and unless you know what's going on Reddit, I think it can be a little intimidating. So these are the things we're going to go over today. We're going to talk about the media partnerships page, which is a great breakdown of how you can get involved in Reddit. We're going to go over the panel notes from the ONA panel. So Reddit was here along with Michelle last week for the ONA, which is the Online News Association conference, was in Austin last week, and so we're going to talk about what they talked about on their panel. We're going to talk about Ask Me Anythings, or AMAs, and how our newsrooms are using those, and actually Michelle's going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about how you can use Reddit to monitor trending content, and then also how this is a new audience for us. Yay, new audiences. Okay, so the Reddit Media Partnerships page is something that is a really great tool. It's got some really easy how-tos, how to set up an AMA, how to use Reddit embeds, some guidelines, and then also just a Reddit 101. It's a really easy setup for how to get involved in Reddit, even if you just want to, like I said, dip your toe in. And there's some great trainings on this page. So this will be sent with this deck. There's a link right there in the headline. So we met with Reddit at ONA last week, and we got some best practices from them. So here's what they said. Always review subreddit rules. So Reddit has a home page, and then each feed or each subreddit is like its own little conversation. So before you jump in and try and post something, review the rules and culture. Know what you're kind of dipping your toe in. Rules and guidelines are posted on the right rail of the subreddit page, so you can find them there. And they recommend checking in with the media partnerships team before engaging. So there's a lot of people that you can reach out to. You can ask them questions before you try and dive in. They're always going to value participation over promotion. So you can jump into a comments discussion for your own articles and topics that are relevant to your brand, but definitely don't just promote. That's how you'll get down, they call them votes. You'll get downvoted to the point where you can't really participate anymore. So try and find where discussions are happening for things that are, for articles and topics that are relevant to your story or to your property, and then start engaging with the people that are there. They also recommend to create a publisher Reddit account to be upfront about who you are. Individual reporters should use a work account if they want to associate their username with their work. So always, again, Redditors appreciate transparency. So some notes from the ONA panel, thanks to John Bridges, who's the managing editor of the Austin American-Statesman, who went to that panel and took some notes for us. When a news brand enters Reddit, be careful. So like we said, each subreddit is like its own little cocktail party. If you are the new person walking into the party, so you don't want to just talk about yourself, right? You want to get into conversations with people. It's not all about self-promotion. There are some links in this slide right here. The Washington Post, the Dallas Morning News, Texas Tribune, and AL.com have had some really great engagement success on Reddit, as well as the Columbus Dispatch we'll talk about later. But check out their work and see what they're doing, and you can see what I'm talking about when I say it's a conversation. It's not just a promotion. So, and then be honest and transparent again with the Reddit community. Don't post under a false name. If you're good, Reddit will be nice to you. So I found this great Twitter thread from this guy that was at the panel as well, and his takeaway was, I would recommend checking out this thread, which will be linked to in this slide. But he says, be human on the platform, not an institution. Be humble and listen. So Reddit, it really is about creating that community and being part of that community. All right, AMAs. So Ask Me Anything. This is a really awesome tool that Reddit has, where a lot of celebrities use this to promote stuff that's going on, but we can also use it to promote stuff that we have going on. So good people to do AMAs are pretty much anyone in your newsroom, reporters, editors, columnists, but especially around any big stories that you think people will have questions about. This is a great way to engage with your audience. On this, on that link to the partnerships page that's in this, it has a quick setup for how you can set up an AMA. Like it says here, it has to contain proof, which is why you always see those pictures of people holding up pieces of paper saying, you know, what their AMA is. So there are some rules, so just make sure that you check out the partnerships page before you decide to do this on your own. And with that, I'm going to send it over to Michelle, who's going to talk a little bit about what they did on Reddit.
Thanks, Summer. So our first Reddit AMA was a couple months ago, and we did it on a big project that we've been working on called Side Effects. And it's this complex topic of looking at prescription drug prices and how pharmacy benefit managers affect them. They're kind of like the middleman in all of this. And it's a pretty complicated topic that not everyone understands. And so we thought this was a great way to break it down and answer people's questions. So we had a couple reporters in, Lucas Sullivan and Marty Schladen, and actually the third reporter, Kathy Kandinsky, came in and just answered people's questions. And the great thing was these people were really engaged. They really knew what they were talking about. They asked great questions, in-depth questions, and it allowed us to connect with people. And it gave us good story ideas for the future and sources. One thing I'll say, we probably let the reporters type the answers. We had somebody transcribing, and I think that may have slowed down the process a little bit, especially with something that was as in-depth as this was. So let the reporters answer the questions, and know that Reddit is a really well-read community. They seem to know what they're talking about. They're invested in these things. So don't be afraid of it. We were a little afraid of going into it. We've had a little bit of experience with Reddit where we have somebody who's taken a bot and changes all of our links so that they can get around our paywall. And we're letting them do that because they're reading our content, and as long as they're reading it, that's fine. So we were a little afraid of how this AMA was going to go, given some of the stuff that we've seen on Reddit, but it went really well. In fact, we're going to do our second one on this topic probably on Monday. We also let people ask questions that were off topic towards the end and try to answer them, and it gave us ideas for future AMAs. We want to do one with our editor just talking about trust in media and safety and all that kind of stuff. So I think they're a great tool to engage with people, and I really want to start using it more regularly for our newsroom.
Thanks, Michelle. And I'm going to offer her, if you want to talk about Reddit, I'm sure Michelle would welcome your questions. You can reach her on Slack or via email.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So this is a really good way to get started in Reddit. Just do an AMA. It's a little bit easier to set up. And again, it's a great way to brand not only your newspaper but your reporters specifically. So you are trying to position them as the authorities in the community around something, and this is a really great way to do that. All right, so one of the other great things about Reddit is you can monitor trending content. So I know for us, we had this one old story that it was from 2011 or 2013, and it kept popping up in our analytics. It would be like our number 3 or 4 story like every 3 months, just randomly. And we finally figured out that all of this was coming from Reddit. So there was all of these strings going on and all of these subreddits going on around this story because all of the traffic was coming from all over the U.S. It wasn't coming from local places. So what we decided to do with that was first of all, we repurposed it. So we rewrote it so that it's, this is the story that's trending right now. And then we also did a follow. Where are these people now? So obviously there was a ton of interest in this story specifically. So those can be really great ways for you to know what your audience is looking for. So I would make sure you definitely are paying attention to any of your stories that are trending on Reddit. Knowing where they're coming from is important, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Also, you should set up a Slack bot using CrowdTangle to alert you through Slack when something you care about is mentioned on Reddit. So, such as the name of a Texas politician or somebody that you need to know about. There's a quick guide to do that. Will be attached to this slide. It's very easy, and that way you'll know anytime, if there's a lot of activity on Reddit around one of your beats, that's a good indication that something is going on or that you need to do a follow on that story. It's also a new audience to engage with. Now, do I know that everybody on Reddit is not people that you regularly engage with? No, but I would assume that there are some new readers out there. So there's multiple ways to measure success on Reddit, including engagement, quality of comments, karma, which is the upvoting and the downvoting for your brand, and traffic referrals. So it's not all about traffic referrals, although that obviously is always a plus, but really this is a chance to engage with people as a person, right? There's the big thing about news literacy right now is that they see us as this institution and not as people. This is a great way to show people that you're a person. But the most important thing is transparency, loyalty, and trust to your brand. So this is what you're going to get by regularly engaging with people on Reddit. And it's also going to boost your it's going to boost journalism in general and your brand in particular. So one of the things that was also mentioned is that Reddit is a meme economy. So to benefit from a meme economy, you need to contribute to the meme economy. So the Star News is really great at this. Dan Spears has done a bunch of collections with memes about North Carolina. And really Reddit is the perfect place for that, to post or to make sure if you're posting somebody else's content, you're always giving them credit. Journalism rules still apply. But also, to be interacting with other people that are posting funny memes and then coming up with some of your own is always a good thing to do on Reddit. Here are some cautions before we move on. You will get kicked off of Reddit or at least downvoted to the point where you can't do anything if you're just promoting your content. So don't go on Reddit and start just posting links to stories. You will not get the benefits of this community. Again, think about it like you're going to a cocktail party. You want to engage with people. You're not just promoting what you're doing. Also, engagement without understanding the audience you're targeting. So some communities gather to share the news. Others are more personal, but context is key. The Media Partnerships team will provide support and strategic guidance. So again, before you jump into a subreddit, it's always a good idea to reach out to the Media Partnerships team, ask them a little bit about what's going on, ask them about the culture, and see if maybe this is a good place for you to jump in or not. We've got a contact at the Media Partnerships team at Reddit. So, this will be on this slide, obviously, when it's sent out to you. But You can reach out to Gabriel anytime. He's a great contact, and he is really willing and to work with newsrooms. He really believes in local news. So reach out to him, ask him any questions you've got, and he can give you some really great advice about getting started on Reddit. Okay, so let's talk about Evergreen. So how can I use viral content to increase my reach on social? You can do that with an Evergreen plan. So there's a link to this slide about what an Evergreen plan looks like, but basically what we're talking about is making sure that you are capitalizing on viral content, make sure you're saving it so that you can repurpose it later, and creating a schedule so that you know when things were shared so that you can pull them back out, update them, and share them again. So this is meant to be a time saver in the long run, okay? So what is an Evergreen plan? Having viral content ready to go, like I said, repurposing old content, saving time and gaining page views, but it's really important to track, so using that tracker. So the first thing to do to start your Evergreen plan is to use analytics. Figure out your most viral content on social. On Parse.ly, it's a referrer, which is at the top of the page, so you can find out what your top articles were per refer. So how did you do on Facebook? What was your top shared story? You can find that really easily under referrers on Parse.ly. For Google Analytics, this obviously, you're going to get this slide, so don't feel like you have to write it down, but it's also easy. Acquisition, social, network referrals, and then pick your referrer. So I just picked Facebook, which is what you're seeing right there. So taking a look every month, it's really important to take a beat at the end of the month and look back at your month. What went viral this month? What was your most socially shared, clicked through stories of the month? So this is, I took August for the entire company and pulled out some really great ones that I would note. So Augusta had one that went viral on old Augusta area aerial photos. A history of the Florida red tide by Sarasota went nuts. And then an anniversary of a restaurant in Fayetteville, and then that Columbus bucket list, which we know was probably at the end of the month, so it got a bunch more page views, but that was already number 18 by the time that was posted. So looking at your month, finding out what did really well on social and making note of that is the first step. So then you need to save that, and I would really recommend that you save those outside of the CMS. As some of you I'm sure know and has happened to you before, things disappear in our CMS. So save it in a flash drive, save it on your desktop, save it somewhere so that you know that in 3 months, 5 months, 8 months, 12 months, you can come back and grab it and you'll know where it is. And then also track it. So create a content tracker and make sure that you know when something was posted, what it was, what the slug is, so that you can go back and find it hopefully if it's there, or if not, you can repurpose it and then update it. So then once you have that established, you can start thinking about what can I use this month, right? So what did I publish 3 months ago that I might be able to use again, 6 months ago that I might be able to use again, a year ago that I might be able to use again, right? This is a running list. So you might have to wait a few months as you get this going, and do some research and all that, but this is meant to be something that will help you going forward. So make sure that you're paying attention to what you can pull back out, but make sure if you're doing that you're updating it. So if you've got a list of 10 best decks to dine on this summer, make sure all those restaurants are still open, they still have decks, all that stuff before you republish. And always use your archives. This Fayetteville area buildings story did really well, or gallery did really well for them. And that was pulling out old photos. We have such an abundance of content in each of our archives, and it can be just a really great, source of page views to bring out every couple months, every year, to share over and over again. It's just kind of like, it's also like we talked about with SEO. It's the fact that you just kind of bring things back out and reuse them, because there's no way that everybody saw everything you posted. And if they did, that doesn't mean that they're not going to want to see something like this again. And make sure that you're sharing with your peers. So share your viral stories, galleries, and ideas on the Steal This channel on Slack. There have been so many incredible ideas shared there, so many great slideshows that people have been able to repurpose. So there's a link to that Slack channel in this slide, but definitely check that out and make sure that you are sharing stuff. Even if you have an idea of something that you haven't been able to do, bounce it off of each other. This channel has been really awesome to see some really big wins in the company and to just grab stuff that you can repurpose and do on your own. All right, that's all I got today. So thank you so much for joining us. Again, you're going to get a link to this video and a link to the slides, so you'll be able to see all of the links that I put in there. You'll be able to link out of them. Do not forget that we've got 2 more trainings coming next month, and I'll let Tim talk a little bit about those.
Well, thank you, Summer. Yeah, thanks so much. And the theme next month, fake news, reader complaints, learning how to tell your story better. It's a really interesting topic at obviously kind of a crucial time. We'll have registration links are embedded into the slideshow that I'll send out to you. I'll also make sure to follow up and have registration links in the email as well. Really interesting. So we want you to take part in that next month. And then, of course, not only will I send you out the video today and the slides as well, but like I said before, anything that we do will be in the training portal moving forward. So we want you to be able to use that as a resource, not just for you, but for anyone in your newsroom who you think might want a link or might want some more training on these things. Thanks to both Michelle and to Summer for a great presentation. And have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us, folks.